Hello to everyone. We want to welcome you to the 2014 South Carolina AgriBiz and Farm Expo. My name is Jody Martin, and I have an opportunity to just be a part of this expo as a show manager, bottle washer, whatever it takes. But we are so excited because this event is all about teamwork. And I want to introduce to you our Commissioner of Agriculture, because I want to let you know what we've been able to do here and what we're able to do is because of everybody working together and all of these pieces coming together. And in the center of all that collaboration is the South Carolina Department of Ag. And in the center of that and just running that show and making everything happen with his staff and everyone around the state is our awesome commissioner, Commissioner Hugh Weathers, the Commissioner of South Carolina Agriculture. So let's welcome him up, and he's going to say a few words and take care of things from here. Welcome, Commissioner.
Thank you, sir, and good morning. Thank you, Jody. You know, Jody kicked it off there just to welcome you. I tell you, I think everyone's gotten a head start on that, just walking the trade show already to see people networking and doing what we're here to do. That is learn a little bit, but it's going to be a great couple of days. As Jody said, there's a lot of things that go on before we kick off this morning. I think when last year's inaugural event wound up, they began planning this year's event the next day. And let me just give good compliments to Jody and his group for the planning that they've done, the expansion. You see it right here in this part of the building, that the trade show numbers are up to 120 plus exhibitors, so that's a nice increase. And just great events planned. The trade show will be open all day, but then tonight is the Taste of South Carolina, a great event where we'll highlight the products that come from South Carolina's farms, but have a great time doing it with a great taste event and a few awards to make tonight. So be sure to be here for that. It is a ticketed event, so you'll want to be aware of that, and I'm sure there's some tickets still available. Then tomorrow morning is another, what I think is a great event. We, for the last 10 years, the Department of Agriculture and Clemson College of Agriculture have collaborated on the Commissioner's School for Agriculture, really helping develop the new leaders of our industry in South Carolina. And in order to put that activity on at Clemson every year in the summer, we take no tax dollars to do it. We supply some man hours, and Clemson College of Ag supplies the man hours, but all of the costs are borne by contributions from our great South Carolina industries, by tuition and by scholarship. So again, tomorrow morning's breakfast is a fundraising event for that. So be sure and try to participate in that. My next order of business is a pleasure, and that is to introduce our speaker this morning. If you talk about putting on events, and those of you anywhere in the Southeast who have been to Moultrie, Georgia, know that the event there in its 35th year, I think, 37th year this past year, is just one of the premier agriculture events across the country. And just like this expo, nothing like that ever just happens. And the smoother it runs is a reflection on those who run it. And the man responsible for the expo in Moultrie, Georgia, is here with us this morning, Chip Blalock. If you go there, if Chip doesn't put on a coat and tie, you don't know he's the guy running the train. He just is working. He's constantly on the move, again, to make sure everyone has a good time at that show, the same way Jody and his crew have done today. So it's a pleasure to welcome Chip. He is an Aggie from Georgia with a graduate degree in agriculture from the University of Georgia. And prior to that, he worked with the, I think the Ag Extension for a while, so then he took over there. Just like all of us involved in farming, Chip is a community-based individual with his family and the number of things that he works with, the United Way in Moultrie, YMCA, coaching several teams, which I think he probably does as a relief from his from the stress of putting on things like that. But Chip and Donna have two sons, Bo, who's at Abraham Baldwin College, and then Buck, who is a freshman in high school. So it is a real honor to have someone of Chip's standing here. He's going to come, and his keynote address this morning is Innovations and Collaborations in Agriculture. Let's welcome Chip Blalock.
That commissioner talked about me coaching ball. My boys 20 and 15 now, and when they got 12, I quit coaching them because the older they got, the less I knew. So that's why I transitioned into getting a chair and sitting on the sidelines and watching. Thank you for that great introduction, Commissioner. Thank you, Jody, for the invitation to come up here and be with y'all at the South Carolina AgriBusiness Expo. The second year, build it and they will come, and that's truly what y'all are doing. It's been amazing to me as I've done my homework before I came up to see the collaboration with Department of Ag, Farm Bureau, Clemson, Economic Development. Several local entities have come together to create this environment for farmers to come and visit with the exhibitors, to share ideas, learn one from another, and as the end result, buy those services, products and technology from our exhibitors here. You know, that's the bottom line. I just appreciate what y'all are doing. I appreciate your passion for having a show where we can help the farmers. That's the bottom line, is helping the farmers enhance their bottom line. So with that said, we'll get started, and I'll go ahead and apologize to the first row of exhibitors on the other side of the curtain. We're gonna have to cut the lights off for the PowerPoint, but that'll help me get it done a little faster because I know what that means, and I don't want Jody to get in too much trouble for them being in the dark for about 15 or 20 minutes. Y'all's theme, rooted in tradition and thriving through innovation, really ties into what I'm going to talk about briefly today. We're going to take a trip down memory lane, see how far we've come, and see where this technology might be taking us in the future. And then we're going to talk about collaborations, which y'all already got a real good handle on here. 18th century, oxen and horses for power. All sewing was done by hand. Eli Whitney invents the cotton gin in 1783. First gasoline tractor, 1892. Rubber tires in 1930. And in 1930, one farmer supplied 9.8 people, okay? In the 40s, we're up to 10.7 people. Frozen foods are becoming popular. We don't have to worry about our fruits and vegetables being as perishable, and as y'all know now with the flash freezing, all that started back in the 40s. Spindle cotton pickers were introduced. We were slowly and changing from horses to tractors, okay? 1950, we're up to feeding 15.5 people. Number of tractors finally exceeds the number of horses and mules for the first time, okay? In the 60s, we're up to feeding 25.8 people. In 1968, 96% of the cotton was harvested mechanically, and you can see we're politically correct at the Sunbelt Expo. We have green and red cotton pickers on our slide. 1970, we're up to 47 people that we feed. Enclosed cab tractors are introduced. I made the comment when the GPS came out and the auto steer tractors and said we have cabless tractors. And an old timer sitting in the back of the room says, son, we've had cabless tractors for a long time. Now you're just not steering them. So I kind of had to backtrack on that one. In the 80s, 90s, and in the millennium, 1980, we're up to 75 people that we feed. Computers come on the scene. 1983, we showed computers at the Sunbelt Expo for the first time, and computers really weren't the norm until the early 90s. And I remember the first computers that came out, the mainframe, this entire ballroom probably wouldn't hold it all. 1990, we're up to feeding 100 people. In the 90s, the GPS technology is introduced. Biotech crops are introduced. Center pivot irrigation gaining popularity. 2000, we're up to 125 people. In 2010, we're up to 155 people that one farmer feeds. In 1997, just so happened to be the year that I came on board with the Sunbelt Expo. All this planting was way before I got there, but we planted the first known transgenic double crop at the Sunbelt Expo at our research farm. It was Laureate canola and BXN cotton. Also in 1997, NASA was an exhibitor with us showing the satellite technology and how it hooked up with the GPS, okay? Late 90s, precision agriculture was the new kid on the block. GPS, variable rate fertilizer application, auto steer, personal computers, bag phones. Y'all remember your bag phones? And then we evolved into 21st century technology. The photo on the slide is the UGA in 2004 demonstrated a remote control tractor. You know, the auto steer on our farms is the norm now. The remote control tractor is not, but I guarantee you in 20 years, we'll be a whole lot closer to it. eBay exhibited with us at the Expo in 2003. Now everybody buys and sells on eBay. Laptops, flip phones, I miss my old StarTAC phone. Smartphones with the iPhones and Droids, tablets and iPads are what we use to communicate now, okay? We've come a long way with internet for weather and markets on our personal computers. Everybody's got a DTN machine. We still have a DTN machine in our shop, but we also get now, in 2014, internet and weather on our smartphones and tablets. Whoever knew that we would be able to get all the information that we do right here on our smartphones. Irrigation technology has evolved. Remote irrigation systems. You can literally be home sleeping at night and get a alarm at 2 o'clock saying you're getting rain, where you have a pivot, and you can turn that pivot off with your smartphone or your iPad or your tablet or your PC in your house. Now the farmer's still gonna go out and check that pivot to make sure it cut off, but that 10, 15, 20, 30 minute lag time saves just hundreds of thousands of gallons of water, which enhances our environmental stewardship. We have soil moisture, remote soil moisture monitoring systems, again, that communicate with the irrigation systems to tell us when to put out water and when not to put out water, and how much water to put out at the appropriate times. And there's lots of computer models. Irrigator Pro is one where it helps us schedule irrigation for the right time at the right amount, again, making us better environmental stewards and lowering our bottom line, because it's not cheap to put that water out, whether you're pumping with diesel, whether you're pumping with electricity. And now we have the opportunity to pump with propane. We have a propane pumping unit that we're working with the Propane Council on to seeing how that cleaner burning technology will work. Farming in the air. In the last year, we've had the opportunity to do some work with unmanned aircraft, UAVs, unmanned aircraft vehicles. We need to call them UAVs. We don't need to call them drones. Drones has a negative connotation to it. And this is a great example of collaboration between the Sunbelt Expo, between a private company called Guided Systems, between Commissioner Black and the Department of Agriculture and his Ag Innovation Shop, between the University of Georgia College of Agriculture. And Jody, it's probably a good thing those folks aren't here, because I probably left somebody out and they'll call me on it. But the scope of this technology is that we all got together, and this is technology that we tried and are truing at the Sunbelt Expo, and we didn't even show it at the show last year. We may or may not show it this year, because this is a research project. We want to make sure everything's ready for when the farmers and the crop consultants get it in their hands, it's ready to go to work for them and make money for them. What the slides depict is that is a UAV that we had outfitted with a camera that we flew anywhere from 250 to 700 feet above a 5-acre plot of cotton and a 5-acre plot of peanuts. The second and third pictures there is a photo of the cotton plot, which was perfect for what we call ground truthing the images that we were getting from the UAV. And what made it so good to do the ground truthing is it was a fertility trial. It's Dr. Glenn Harris, our fertility specialist out of Coastal Plain Station in Tifton. You see the light green, dark green, brown. Throughout that field, that 5-acre patch, he had various amounts of N, P, and K. So when we took those images and tried to figure out what the best altitude was, how we're going to use these images, Dr. Harris could look at those images and say, that was too much P, that was less K, so on and so forth. The FAA has strict controls over using this technology from a commercial standpoint. If we wanted to go buy a drone and fly it for recreation or to fly over our own crops, we could, but we can't. A crop consultant cannot purchase that helicopter or UAV and fly it over a farmer's field and charge for it as a business until the FAA regs are released in 2015. So this whole trial was FAA regulated, and I know Jody said y'all hope to have a demo tomorrow, and you got to have permission from the FAA, and he's shaking his head no like you didn't. So you just need to find somebody with one and say they're going to fly it for recreation. You'll be okay. This is going to, go back please, this is going to revolutionize crop scouting and diagnostic. Your tech-savvy crop scout can take this technology. All these young graduates from our land-grant universities are tech-savvy. They've forgotten more about iPads and smartphones and PCs than we ever thought about doing. But one crop consultant can go fly that UAV over the field, come back, sit in his or her pickup, download those images, see where the hot spots are in the field. It's going to say walking back and forth through the fields. They can identify those hot spots, use GPS coordinates, walk right out, see if it's bugs, see if it's weeds, see if it's too much water, too less water, see if it's a fertility problem. And in the coming years, it's really going to revolutionize how crop scouting is done. The gee whiz part of it is one day the drones carrying tanks and spraying, whether it be insecticide or herbicide, flying over and seeing an immature pigweed plant and actually swooping down and spraying that plant before it gets big. Now that's far on down the road, kind of like UPS and FedEx delivering packages with UAVs. That's a great marketing tool for because they got on every national news, but they're probably not going to be delivering packages in the next 3 or 4 years, and we're probably not going to be spraying, but we will be in our lifetime. Next. All this technology that we're afforded to use to gather information for plant health, crop protection, fertility, water usage. Companies are working as we speak. Several of them are in the exhibit hall on how to best assimilate all this information that we have that's generated by all this technology and how we can use it to best fit on our farming operations. Because a lot of information is no good to us unless it's in a usable form. So this technology has allowed us to gather lots of information. We just need to make sure that we're using it to the best of our ability to enhance our bottom line. Okay? We're going to use this social media slide to kind of segue into the collaborations part of my presentation today. Jody asked me to talk about innovations and collaborations. Social media is a big piece of the technology pie. Can you focus that a little bit? I know you can with the remote, or just, there you go. Thank you so much. 76% of U.S. farmers 18 to 35 use social media to gain knowledge. When I was doing some last-minute preparations today, I went to the South Carolina AgriBiz website. Today, it's all about electronic communications. 20 years ago, it was about going to the coffee shop. And we still go to the coffee shop, and we still go to the top of the hill and eat lunch and fellowship one with another. But what the social media does is it allows us to talk real time, being in different places without eye contact. And there's a huge opportunity for agriculture to go online and be involved in building the connections between food production and consumption. Now, if you would just leave it there just a sec, please. We were at our Farm Show Council annual meeting last year, and one of the crop protection companies, a young lady, spoke to us about social media. And she got to talking about Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and Pinterest. And this young lady's in public relations for Syngenta, and she says they have a Pinterest site. And the first question is why in the world would somebody like Syngenta or Monsanto or Bayer or DuPont have a Pinterest site? Well, she was shocked when she went on and saw all of the negative connotations to agriculture. The lemons or the oranges with all the needles stuck in them, the proverbial Chipotle spigot that they say we feed our chickens and hogs and cattle with. So we as an industry have got to tell our side of the story for what we're doing to raise the safest, most abundant, most economical supply of food, fiber, and shelter, because I guarantee y'all, the ones that are against us are telling that story. So we've got to take every opportunity, whether it's in situations like this or whether it's on social media, to tell the good news of agriculture, okay? Collaborations, very simply, together we can accomplish more. With our Department of Agriculture, Farm Bureau, land-grant universities, FFA and 4-H, I see the kids in the back. These folks are our future. We've got to embrace our youth and get them ready and support our youth organizations so they can be our leaders for tomorrow. Ag councils, commodity groups, I'm very impressed that y'all have economic development people involved with this South Carolina AgriBusiness Expo, and on our state and federal level with our legislators and agencies. That includes USDA, FDA, we've all got to work together, and even EPA. We got to work with those folks, okay? Other way. I was talking to the commissioner briefly a while ago. We are very fortunate in South Carolina and Georgia, and from an ag commissioner standpoint, South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, all of the southeastern states, as well as the land grants, we have top flight leadership, and we don't need to take that for granted. We've got folks in the positions that'll go to bat for us to make sure that protections are in place so we can continue to thrive as farming operations, as agribusinesses, and that's across the departments of Ag, State Farm Bureau presidents, land-grant university presidents and deans. Great leadership is vital for seeing the big picture and looking into the future and realizing what we have to do to maintain our stability and to maintain our grasp on producing the safest, most economical, most abundant supply of food, fiber, and shelter that a lot of people take for granted. And again, we've got to tell our story in agriculture. Budget cuts have caused our land grants to work together to make sure that research is being done and that research is being disseminated to the farmers throughout not only the Southeast, but the nation and the world. We have all got to work together, and that's what was so impressive when I first started doing my research before I was coming up here, with the collaboration that's going on here, the collaboration that we have going on at the Sunbelt Expo, we can't have enough alliances. And we've got to work together to tell our story and not care who gets the credit as long as we're advancing agriculture. Next slide. We're in an industry where 2%, it's actually less than 2% now, of the population is farmers, and they feed 98% of the world. I read a white paper my dad did in 1958, and in 1958, farmers and ranchers were 12%. So you see there's less of us, but we're feeding more people as we move forward into the future. So again, it's of utmost importance that we join together to tell our story. At the Expo in Moultrie, Georgia, we have a grassroots marketing plan that is unequaled in the farm show industry. Via our Swisher Sweet Sunbelt Expo Southeastern Farmer of the Year program, we have a built-in grassroots network throughout the 10 states in the Southeast that the program represents. And through our relationships with the farm bureaus and the land-grant universities that administer that program in the 10 states. Got a couple slides up there. You'll see the slide on the left is your commissioner, the reigning cow milking champion at the Sunbelt Expo, Commissioner Hugh Weathers. If Commissioner Weathers shows up, he's the champion. Pretty simple. On the right, we show on our Farmer of the Year tour, the judges on the tour visiting with James and Kathy Cooley on our visit back in October. Just a great operation. And when we're at the farms and we're visiting and we're talking about this Farmer of the Year program, and it is a contest and there's a winner, we've stressed that the program has a twofold mission. Number one, to recognize excellence in agriculture. Number two, to bring recognition to the American farmers, especially the ones that are so near and dear to our heart in the Southeast that produce that safe, abundant, economical supply of food and fiber. And it's just a humbling deal to get to go on that tour every year and meet folks like James and Kathy times 10. Let's give them a round of applause for being your Southeastern Farmer of the Year from the state of South Carolina, and the second South Carolina farmer to win the overall award. Ron Stevenson from Chester was 1994, and I also see my friend Kevin Elliott, who was here, who was our Farmer of the Year in 2010 or 11. It's just a great program, and it gives us a great built-in grassroots network. We thrive on collaborations at the Sunbelt Ag Expo. We work with all the commodity groups and the land-grant universities to do our cattle demos, our equine demonstrations, poultry, dairy, sheep and goats, and the list just goes on and on. You can go to the next slide. Part of that grassroots network is our 10 farm bureaus joining forces to sponsor our luncheon every year, along with Swisher in southern states. We really appreciate the opportunity to partner up with the South Carolina Farm Bureau on that endeavor. Clemson, Georgia, Auburn, Florida, Fort Valley State, Florida A&M, and ABAC all exhibit with us. Each one of those, with the exception of Florida A&M, have a permanent exhibit building at the Sunbelt Expo. And we also partner with a lot of the commodity groups like the Peanut Commission that's in that slide, the Cotton Commission, the propane industry. All of the irrigation companies have buildings on our site. And you just can't have too many collaborations and partnerships. The more collaborations we have, the wider our net's cast and the more effective we can be. I'm often asked why I'm so passionate and upbeat about what I do and getting to speak like this and getting to put on North America's premier farm show, where we host 90 to 100,000 of our closest friends from all over the world and 1,200 exhibitors in the agricultural industry that has the latest technology that the industry has to offer. It's all about job security. It's all about working in an industry where you can wake up every morning, when you put your feet on the floor, realize that something you're going to do in that day is going to help feed the world and is going to help us feed 9 billion people. We're approaching 7 now. By the year 2050, we're going to have to feed 9 billion people. And using this technology, using the collaborations that we have, I'm very, very confident that the American farmer is up to the task. By the way, go back, and that's a shot of the Clemson exhibit this last year. Did a great job of talking about taking food from the farm to the marketplace. And one of the cool things about an exhibit like that was real fruits and vegetables that went to the food bank at the end of the show. Okay? I've already talked about the task of feeding 9 billion people, but using this technology that the good Lord has blessed us with, and that's one thing we've got to keep in focus. It's just not our technology, it's the good Lord's technology that He is allowing us to use and develop. And as long as we keep that in focus, we have a very bright future. Okay? I would be remiss, and my marketing department back home would be disappointed with me if I didn't show you this slide to invite y'all to be with us in October 14th through the 16th, 2014 in Moultrie, Georgia, for the 37th annual North America's Premier Farm Show, the Sunbelt Ag Expo. We look forward to rolling out the red carpet for the world that comes to see us. Check us out on the web, sunbeltexpo.com. Check us out on Facebook and Twitter. Again, congratulations on a great second year. Looking forward to the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. It's kind of like the old saying, you build it and they will come. Y'all's heart's in the right place. You've got the support of the exhibitors. You've got the support of the key players throughout this great state. And I just ask for God's richest blessings upon y'all as y'all move forward. Thank you for the opportunity to be here with you today. And I'll be around to answer any questions. Y'all have a great week. Thank you very much. Let's give Patricia a round of applause. We kind of had to work our way through the PowerPoint today and with the lights and everything, and she did a great job. I see her every year at the county agents meeting, and we'll be meeting again this year in Clemson.
Yes,
Looking
right.
forward to that.
Thank you, Chip. Again, it was a team effort working with you on that great presentation, and we do thank you for being here with us today. And we just want to say that the South Carolina AgriBiz and Farm Expo is working towards being a chip off the old block, or the chip Blalock. And we have a gift for you that we'd like to thank you again for coming and being with us today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Chip. That was an awesome presentation. A lot of things that he shared and talked about. He talked about the unmanned aircraft systems. There's a booth in the corner with those displayed. There will not be a demonstration Friday according to FAA. So just clarify that did not happen for good reasons. But thank y'all. The next, enjoy the expo, indoor, outdoor, all the festivities that are here. The next activity, in addition to that, will be a special rescue of our Commissioner of Agriculture just outside here at 12:30. So lots to see, lots of education, tremendous exhibits. Thank you, everyone, and we'll look forward to seeing you on the floor. Thank you.